Get ready to roll up your sleeves and build your very own code coverage tool from scratch. In this video, you learn how to use JavaScript, Node.js, and the V8 engine to create a custom code coverage tool that fits exactly your needs. You even use the native Node.js to pinpoint specific lines that aren't covered. Don't miss out on this chance to learn the ins and outs of a code coverage tool creation. Hello my friend, Erick Wendel here. Ever wonder what goes on behind the scenes of a code coverage tools like Jest, C8 and Istanbul? In this video, I will be giving you a rare behind the scenes look at how to create your own code coverage tool using JavaScript, Node.js and the V8 engine. And the best part, this demo was created with the help of Chat GPT, the language module trained by OpenAI, and it was exciting to see how it's powerful not only creates code but help with ideas. Ready to get started? Pour yourself a drink and let's dive in! Before you dive into this exciting video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join our community on Telegram. And if you want to show your support, give me a thumbs up here. I appreciate your support and can't wait to bring you more content. Thanks for choosing to watch my video. Enjoy it. If you browse a bit this channel, you notice that I love building things from scratch to learn how they are built and what's the magic behind it. Recently, I made a video about implementing the WebSocket protocol from scratch and another one about recreating the Node.js project using the same components V8, libuv, and C++. I've also been working on the Node.js core, implementing new features and fixing bugs on the Node test runner. Every day I publish a Twitter thread with some content, and this time I did a post about the Node.js test runner, and my friend Vlad said that he's missing a native code coverage solution in the Node.js and that with CDP it should be easy to do it. Well, as you'd be right now, I had no idea what CDP was, so he replied and I started researching. Well, the CDP stands for Chrome Dev Tools Protocol, and it's an API that we can call from JavaScript to get insights, measure performance, diagnose internal problems, and much more. After researching and browsing the API, I found those functions. They are what Vlad mentioned, so I decided to start an experiment to build this video for you. Luckily, to access this API via Node.js, you must use the inspector module. I actually introduced the new promise file module into the inspector, so we could use it as promises, and it's already working on the Node.js 19. Well, as I've been using Chat GPT a lot, I thought, why not ask for their help? And this is my chat with the Chat GPT. So here I just started asking how to create a code coverage from JavaScript, and he actually said to me to use Istanbul and another alternatives. And I wanted to say, no, I want something from scratch, and I actually had a lot of trials here. I actually asked it how to use OpenTelemetry because I know there are a lot of cool stuff right there. But then I was talking like, I want to use the Node.js inspector because Vlad said, and I just saw the API there. Well, I did a lot of questions here, but I could get some grasp on what I should do here. So I got a lot of problems and so on. So this didn't help me much to create the code itself from scratch, but this could give me some ideas on where to start. In summary, as I said, it couldn't help me with the code because the API was a bit outdated and wasn't working well, so I came back to the plan A. As the Chrome DevTools API doesn't have very good documentation with examples, I started looking at the very non-code coverage tools such as C8 and Istanbul. Well, I noticed that C8 doesn't use the Chrome DevTools API, it uses source maps, which is a different approach to measuring code coverage. After researching a lot, I found out this library that uses the Chrome DevTools to measure the code coverage I wanted to. With those examples, I implemented a similar approach, but much simpler and works 100% on the terminal. Sick of just listening about it? Time to get hands-on, my friend. I'm gonna use the Node.js 19 because all my changes I did on the Node.js is already there, so you can start using right away. Okay, so I'm gonna create a folder here and I'm gonna call it coverage app. Okay, and then I'm gonna create an index file. I'm gonna use ECMAScript modules, and then I'm gonna create another file here called calc. Okay, just trying to make some calculations. So usually code coverage tools we use to see whether our test was using our files. Okay, so here I won't write any test, but we could see which line was actually executed or not. This is so amazing. All right then, so to start, I'm gonna start creating a function calc. I'm gonna use just 2 arguments and I'm gonna export it. Okay, and then on the index file I'm gonna import it. So I'm gonna use maybe 10 and 20. Okay, so I'm gonna just print out. Well, something nice we can do here is that we can use Node watch with our index. So Node.js 19 helps us to use it. So it's undefined because we haven't implemented it yet. Okay, so I'm gonna try and make some like crazy assertions here. Okay, conditions here. So if it's greater or equal than 9 and less than equal 10, I'm gonna just return the sun. Okay, so it's 30. All right, but what if a is 3? So if it's 3, I'm gonna just return a. Oh my god, what is this calculations? It doesn't matter, it's just to show all these rules being applied and if our ifs were actually being executed. So if a is 4, I'm gonna return a. If a is 6, just render numbers here, I'm gonna return a, return the exponentiation, and then otherwise just a++. Okay, if I run this code I can see it's working fine, right? If I put here more values just to satisfy all the ifs here, so I will have 3, I will have 4, and I would have 20 here. Okay, what else? 6. All right, so we have all the values there. Okay, I'm gonna remove all this console.logs because this is what we just want from our code, and I will keep them all commented right now. Okay, nice. Now we start creating our coverage file. Coverage.mjs. Perfect. From here, we're gonna start actually measuring whether this file was called from V8 from the API. Okay, to get started, we're gonna use the inspector from inspector/promises. This API is brand new because I just implemented it there. All right, nice. I'm gonna talk here that I'm gonna have the entry point, okay, which is our index.js. Okay, but just to make sure you understood why I'm doing this, let's put here, we could have gotten this file name from the CLI, all right, and execute the program like coverage index.js as C8 does. Okay, I won't like waste time doing this, but just you know that we could have done something like this. All right, let's start our session with our inspector. So I'm gonna say this session here. Perfect, and then I'm gonna use session.connect. Okay, just to start the session. And this inspector is usually used to make the connection with the Chrome API. First of all, we will need to use the session.post to send an event. Okay, so I'm gonna say profile enable, and then I'm gonna use session dot post to send an event again, and I'm gonna say profile dot start precise coverage, so we can measure and get events from the V8 API, from the Chrome DevTools. So I'm gonna use call count true, all right, and then detailed true, detailed. Nice. First of all, we enable profiling already, so we get all the events that's happening on the V8 side, and then we start looking from the coverage, and then we should import our file here. So I'm gonna use import the entry point. After it, our import will execute all the code, right? The code will load and all the functions gonna be there and everything. After it, we should stop profiling and actually try seeing the results. So we're gonna use await session.post profile.take precise coverage. All right, so here precise coverage, we're gonna use to wait for these strings. Okay, and then as we did to start the precise coverage, we're gonna stop it. Okay, session post, and we're gonna use the stop instead of start. After it, we can just see if we have any results here. So console.log, JSON string file, precise coverage. I'm gonna put no to the replacer, and the spaces 2 spaces, so we can see the value format. Perfect. Right now, the coverage itself is the program that's gonna load and actually execute all the files we have, right? So now we can actually execute the coverage right now. Profile enable wasn't found, so it's missing an R. Profiler. Okay, be careful with these magic strings. Ooh, what do we have here? Well, we have a lot of stuff here, right? We have all the tree from Node.js, so we can see the ESM and all the modules that it's being loaded on our application. And actually our index is here, and we can see this value count one, so from calc. But what we want here is the calc 0, the count 0, right? So from here, we can see 69 and 189. So let's go to the calc and try finding this 69. So if I go here and select all the code here, you could see right on the bottom the number 69, right? So it starts from here and goes until the 189, right? So 189, it's almost here, right? Perfect. So we can say that all those lines are not covered. All those lines are not being executed. That's it. No. We haven't finished yet. So let's go back and let's filter those results and just see what we want. So we just want the calc and the index, right? We don't need any information about the coverage itself because it's the file we are using, and other things from Node internals, okay? So firstly, let's create a function to filter all those functions. So I'm gonna put here const filter results, and we're gonna receive the coverage. All right, I'm gonna filter these results. Well, I think all the results are in this property, result. Yes, it's on the result. Perfect. So we're gonna use just the result in this case. Okay, so coverage dot result dot filter, and then we're gonna grab the URL, because the URL will say to us if it's an internal module or is actually a function that we want to cover. Okay, well, first of all, I want to check if it's actually a file, right? So here I actually could try console logging the URL to check them all and just return true. It's gonna keep all those results, but we can see here the difference. So I just saved and I'm gonna run again. So right now, I think it's, yeah. Here I actually don't need this console log because all those results are being logged here, right? Okay, so run again. And now we can see all those URLs, right? So we should ignore all nodes and we should actually just keep what is not this file, all right? Nice. So to get the file name here, current file name, we're gonna import from node URL the file to URL path, and then I'm gonna use meta.url. Well, to use these functions, I'm gonna actually remove all this suffix here, okay? Because I just need the file name, I don't need the protocol in this case. So here I'm gonna call it final URL. It's gonna be URL replace, and I'm gonna use just the file with it, okay? With 2 bars here, 2 slashes, we can say that is the protocol, and the rest of it is actually the file, right? The full path. Well, first we need to ignore node modules. To do that, we're gonna import from node path is absolute. Okay, so if it's absolute, we know that we can use it because it doesn't contain node. So I'm gonna run again. Oh, and yeah, now I can actually console.log those results, and here we can see all the values we have there. So we have the URL, okay, and we have functions that supposedly has all the values we want, okay, but still this file is there, so we should ignore this one too. So I'm gonna put more one condition, not this file. So final URL is different than the current file name. So let's try running again. And now we have just the index and the calc. Nice, nice. So here I will just JSON stringify this value so we can save on a file, okay? And then we can use it to debug if you want to. So here, debug JSON, and I'm gonna save there just in case we want something, but keep in mind that we are gonna use only the count zeros, okay? The count 1 seems everything's covered. Perfect. What else? Well, now we have the data, and now we know how to filter this data, right? So let's save here. Equal filter results. Now I'm gonna try going on each of those items and searching for the count 0, okay? Let's go. Coverage of results, and then I'm gonna use only the coverage URL. So let's see how it's going there. So I'm gonna try doing the same thing I just did here, okay, to remove the file. We could actually, now that we know that everything starts with a file, we could whether replace this value, or we can use the file to URL path. Let's see now. Now we just remove it without replacing the values. Well, in this case, I couldn't use it because we had like a node suffix here, right? So we couldn't do this because it would have been broken our code. With it, we have the file name to use later. Well, now I know the file name I have, now I know the coverage I have to make some mappings here, right? So now I should go to the index and map that offset and the start, the end, to check it out which line our report is talking about. So now I'm gonna create a new function here. Actually, I'm gonna import from Node.js promises the read file function, so we can read all this file. So const source code, it's gonna be await file name as UTF-8, so it's gonna be string, right? Perfect. Now we have the file name, we have the source code, we have the code coverage. We just want to print out those results, okay? Well, just a brief stop here, because I have used Chat GPT to generate the function. I was struggling a bit to make the algorithm here. So I was like, this is late night, let's try out with the Chat GPT. So I said to him, I have this code, very similar to what we have on our debug file. What else? I have the start, the end. I had my function, very similar to what we just created here. And I actually was teaching how it can make the algorithm here. So I was saying, oh, the count is 0, and tell me the text is not covered, right? Just making, and my friend, the ChatGPT, just did the everything. Like it wasn't that I wouldn't say it's beauty, but it works, right? And just a thing here, I was using this command, which is ASCII code for red, to print out red text on the terminal. And actually, it actually recognized that, oh, you want it as a color. So enclosed and covered lines code for red text. This is so nice. And then I noticed there were some bugs there, and I said, oh, but there's bug, try fixing it, and they fixed, and I use it a lot. Well, I wouldn't say I use it everything it shows for me, because I didn't, because the code was a bit ugly, and I actually used it a bit and refactored for myself. So let's try creating this function for ourselves, because it's the final version. So generate coverage report, and I'm gonna use the file name because I want to print which file we were working now, the source code, and the coverage.functions, right? Because if you take a look at the bug, we have the URL, the script, and the functions, and the functions, it's what matters for us right now. Oops, here is just the functions, right? Nice. I'm gonna just call it, and I'll say file name, what else? Source code, and the coverage functions. Perfect. Well, remember I said I want to print out as colored everything, like, oh, this line is not covered, print out on red. So let's create some values here so we can use colors. It's gonna be green, I'm gonna have red, and I'm gonna have end line. Okay, so all of them will start with /x1b. Okay, all of them, so you can copy and paste it. Okay, well, the ASCII code for green is this 32M. Okay, The red, it's gonna be, oops, it's just one side, 31M. And the end line is 0M, okay? So if we just console log here, like colors, green plus hey plus colors dot end line, we can see on the console that our log is a bit different, right? So we can see green and red. Okay, perfect. So the colors is working fine, so we can start printing out. Well, first of all, I'm gonna create an array to keep all uncovered lines. Uncovered lines. And then I'm gonna go through the functions. And then I'm gonna go here on the ranges, right? So first I can actually ignore the function name, but I know the count is not 0. So if it's not 0, I just can ignore it, right? So I'm gonna keep it this way, but then I'm gonna go on the ranges of cov.ranges. And now if the range count is different than 0, then I'm gonna use continue to ignore the process, okay? Nice. What else? Right now we are here, right? We are in the ranges. So we just ignore this first line because the count is not 0, and then we just want to find out where is this line and where we should insert the red, and then when we should enclose it. So the start line, it's gonna be our source code. Substring, we're gonna use 0, the range dot start offset, okay? And then I'm gonna break all the lines and get the length. To do the end of the line, I'm gonna do the same thing, end, but now it's from 0 to end instead of start. And now I'm gonna go through all characters from the start to the end. So I'm gonna use from let char, it's gonna be start line, char less equal end line. I'm gonna put here the char index so we know that's the index, okay? And then char index plus plus. And then our uncovered lines, it's gonna receive each individual index from here. Nice. If we go after them all, we're gonna see a very weird array here, right? So if we run, we just have all the positions, okay? But now it's gonna make sense. So first of all, I'm gonna use console.log. I'm gonna break a line, and I will start printing out the name of our file. File name, colors, and line. And now I'm gonna go through the whole source code here. So source code dot split by the break line, and I'm gonna use for each, and I'm gonna grab the line in the index. So this is why I was using the indexes here. So I'm gonna use this as char index so you know what's going on here, okay? In this case is actually line index, right? So if the uncovered lines includes our index plus 1, this means that we should actually print this is not a covered line, okay? So I could print here console.log colors.red plus our line plus colors end. Else we just print the line itself. So let's try out. Oops, I is not defined, it's not I, it's line index. Ooh, something happened here, right? This is very cool. So what if I'll go to the index here and uncomment maybe 6. So I expect this line to be in white right now, right? And all of them keeps red. That's cool, but it's still, let's see with 4. Well, I can see some like mistake here. The brackets here, it's red. It wasn't supposed to be red. So we can add more one here, assumption. So the line shouldn't starts with the enclosing bracket. Let's see if it works now. Ooh, let's check it out. I'm gonna try breaking a line to check it out. I don't know if it's because it's missing break lines here. All right, what if we try using trim start? Nice. Yeah, it's a bit buggy because all the enclosing ones now are white. Yeah, this ones wasn't supposed to be white, but it's cool, right? Let's check it out if we try using more functions. So I'm gonna run again, and now all of them it's white. What if I just use 20? Ooh, now just 6. What if I comment 4? Nice. Oh, I think we are having a problem because the last return. Because if I comment here, all of them is being read, right? But if they don't have any enclosed at all, let's see if I put here some else. I don't know. Oh, the else is respecting everything. Let's uncomment and just skip the last one. Yeah, for some reason, the last one is not perfect, but it's fine. This is a task for you. It's a homework for you, okay? If you solve this problem, please let me know in the comments because this is really amazing. So I'm gonna keep this way, but let's check it out the result here. So we can see the index, we can see the calc. So if I create some function here that's not being used, it's gonna be printed in red. Look how amazing is it. If I have another ones here, I can see the same thing, right? Everyone is red. If I have a new module and have here like export the full function test. Hello. I can try importing it from our calc and we can see it's a bit different. So import new module. Let's see if I can import test directly. So I can see the test wasn't being used as well. So it's gonna work for all in written functions as well. It's very nice, isn't it? Before we summarize everything I did here, I want to let you know about some of the resources and tools I have available to help you on your coding journey. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and check out my website and training course website for even more information and resources. I've got everything you need to become a JavaScript expert. Check it out, the links in the video description. Well, I'm not sure about you, but aside from this being just a simple tool, it's amazing to learn how those tools are built behind the scenes. In this class, you learn how to invoke the Chrome DevTools API, to use some events from Chrome to get the code coverage API, and to use everything in printout on the terminal with only Node.js core without any frameworks. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you enjoy it and haven't given your thumbs up yet, go ahead right now and do it. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to check out my content in English playlist here in the channel, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to know if this video exceeded your expectations. If it did, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. Thanks again for watching. I'm Erick Wendel, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you want to show the support, give me a thumbs up. No idea. They are what Vlad mentioned. So I decided to start an experiment with Before we wrap up, I want to let you know. Before we wrap up, I want to let you know about. Before I wrap up, before I summarize everything here, I want to let you know. Before we wrap up. Let me check how's this word. Before we wrap up. No, not a good word. Be sure to check out my